Welcome to episode 12 of Secret City Geek Lab, your resource for everything geek. We'll talk movies, TV, comic books, video games, and anything geek. I'm your host, Alan Ng, and you'll hear from me and members of the improv comedy group Secret City Comic Society. This week, we featured Davey Linam and Joey Shope. Today's show is brought to you by Secret City Comic Society, the best in all ages improv comedy in downtown Fullerton. Visit Secret City Comic Society and the Geek Lab at secretcitycomedy.com. Coming up this week, a sneak peek at Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., video game reviews, a look at IDW's kids title line. But we're going to start off with Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was picked up this week by ABC, and it's going to come this fall on Tuesday nights. The series was created by Joss Whedon, and it was written by his brother Jed Whedon. Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. features Clark Gregg, who reprises his role as Agent Phil Coulson from Marvel's feature films, as he assembles a small, highly select group of agents from the worldwide law enforcement organization known as S.H.I.E.L.D. Together they investigate the new, the strange, and the unknown across the globe, protecting the ordinary from the extraordinary. Coulson's team consists of Agent Grant Ward, who's highly trained in combat and espionage, Agent Melinda May, expert pilot and martial artist, Agent Leo Fitz, brilliant engineer, and Agent Gemma Simmons, genius biochemist. Joining them on their journey into mystery is a new recruit and computer hacker, Skye. Show to me looks like kind of a superhero version of CSI. You know, when I was back in high school, I did play D&D with some friends, and we never had computers. And so here's a chance to immerse yourself in that D&D environment through an MMO called Neverwinter, which is currently in beta. And our own Davey Linam had a chance to review Neverwinter. All right, this is Secret City Geek Lab with another video game review with Davey Linam. We're talking about the MMO Neverwinter.
Yes.
All right. What is Neverwinter?
Neverwinter is an MMORPG. It's in its open beta. It's a D&D-based MMO where you try and save the town or the city Neverwinter. Your goal is to kind of stop the forces that are destroying the city and work with the general and kind of save the world or the city that you live in.
Okay, what are the forces? People? Are they creatures? What?
It ranges from oryx to humans to thieves to rats to skeletons and everything in between.
Okay, and so you are a character. You create a character and you're interacting with other people within the city.
Correct. Currently they have 5 different classes. They have the Trickster Rogue, they have the Control Wizard, they have the Dedicated Cleric, they have the Great Weapon Fighter, and then they have the Guardian Defender.
Okay. And how has your gameplay been? What kind of characters do you take, and how's it worked out for you?
Well, I've played 2 characters. You get 2 free character slots. I've played a cleric, and a Great Weapons Fighter. The Cleric has been absolutely a lot of fun. It seems that every time you level, there's something new that opens up to you. You know, you get a new ability or a new trait to your character, like mounts, or you get companions to follow you around and do dungeons in, along with your teammates. And it seems like every time you level, you really kind of open up something new.
How about the gameplay? You're playing with other people? Is interacting with other people kind of, I guess, having not done MMOs, is it kind of intimidating to work with other people, or how does that interaction work out?
I've always enjoyed MMOs because a lot of it is teamwork, especially in this. It's D&D based where, you know, in D&D, you working with the people you're sitting around. So in this, when you're doing dungeons or you're doing fights or you're even PvP, player versus player, you really kind of have to stick with your team, make a little plan, and attack it together, you know, as a team. And it's really community-based, so you kind of have to sit down, talk with your team, chat with your team, or kind of develop a way to play your character so you can support your teammates.
Okay, so you're actively communicating with the other teammates.
Yes.
All right, and do you find your teammates through a party-based system where they match you up, or do you have to just kind of go out and recruit?
Well, you could do either. There is a system where anywhere in the map you can enter a queue for certain dungeons or skirmishes, which are fights against enemies, random fights, or the PvP, and they'll match you with random people. But you can also create a party of 5 and then just go in and face another team or do the skirmishes or dungeons.
How does Neverwinter compare with other MMOs?
Neverwinter in a lot of aspects are like other MMOs, but two factors really kind of set it apart. One of them is the combat system. It's a very kind of heavy combat system. It really requires you to focus and think about the moves you're about to make. And it requires, moving around the map and planning out your moves. And it's just so much fun to play the combat system, and the combat is never boring.
So you just can't rush in and start button mashing.
Yeah, essentially. The other factor that has set this game apart from other MMOs is the Foundry. And what the Foundry is users are able to create quests and maps and dungeons for other players to play. Almost like D&D, where the DM or the dungeon master will create these maps for the players to go and raid and fight. Users can create it and then post it on the game. Even when you reach end game, there's always constantly something you can be doing from the users that posted dungeons and quests.
Okay, so what do you like about Neverwinter?
I absolutely love the combat system. It's just so much fun. It's easy to learn, and you can master it. It gives you the ability to master. I love the idea of the Foundry because it gives users the ability to kind of stray away from the game and kind of play what other people are making, or get a group of friends and one of them makes a dungeon and you guys can just go and always create something new. So there's never something you can't be doing in the game.
And what did you not like about Neverwinter?
What I don't like about Neverwinter is kind of the play-to-win-esque style. There's a lot of things in the cash shop that kind of give players edges, and it feels like you're going to have to shell out money at some point.
So you can buy your way to immortality, or there's a certain level in which you can't overcome certain tasks and obstacles unless you start laying out cash. No,
it's not that. It's you can buy such great things in the cash shop, but they're so expensive, and it's a little overwhelming to think, I would love that, but it's just so expensive. Fortunately, they put in the game a system where you can trade a certain currency for this currency they use in the cash shop.
So you can kind of earn some of this stuff.
You can earn it, but it feels like early in the game, it's going to be forever till.
Okay, so it's currently in beta. They're not charging you right now, are they?
Absolutely not.
And are they charging in the store as well?
They are charging in the store. There's a couple things. There's companions you can buy. There's mounts you can buy.
Okay.
There's big packs worth $60. There's a pack worth $200.
Okay, so I assume a lot of that is transferable when it's out of beta, if you're spending that kind of money.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea when it's coming out of beta?
I don't.
So when it's out of beta, is it just going to feel like the way it currently feels, or is there something more formal that's going to happen?
I feel like what they're doing with this open beta is really focusing on the bugs, because a lot of the content is already released, and everything that they mentioned for the game, the big promos, are already there, like the Foundry and the cash shop and the ability to create guilds. It really feels like a way for the users to find the bugs that the game has, because it already has so much content.
Okay. And will you have to pay once it's out of beta to play the game, or is it generally free?
It's free to play.
Okay, so from a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rank Neverwinter Beta?
Neverwinter Beta is an 8.
This is Alan. I'm talking to Davey Linam, and this was our review of Neverwinter. All right, the Secret City Geek Lab, and Joey is going to talk about Borderlands.
Actually, Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2. The new DLC pack, the Psycho Pack.
All right, well, tell me about Borderlands 2. Give me a quick synopsis of what Borderlands 2
Borderlands 2 is a shooting RPG set in the distant future. You have a bunch of characters. You level them up.
Are you on Earth? Are you in?
You're in outer space on this planet called Pandora.
What is the goal in this game?
The goal, because it's a sequel, it's kind of going off the same goal as the last one. In the last game, Borderlands 1, you were promised to find this vault with treasures and riches, but you didn't find that vault. In Borderlands 2, you do find the vault.
Okay. That's your ultimate goal?
That's the ultimate goal, is to find the vaults and get rich and powerful.
Okay, and what's the basic idea in terms of, you said you level up? And
you level up, the more enemies kill you, the bigger your guns become, the more powerful you can become, the more stuff you can do.
Okay, and is this purely a story game, or is
it's a very story-heavy game. It's for Xbox 360 and PS3, and for computer. It came out a while ago, but what's really cool what they do is they do a lot of DLC stuff.
And that's what we're here to talk about. Tell me about
the newest DLC. Well, it's called Psychopack, and for 800 Microsoft points, or about $10, you can download a new character to add to your roster. His name is Krieg, and he's a psycho, which means that he's a melee-based attacker. A lot of the original characters have based around certain kind of guns. For example, there's a sniper rifle character, there's a heavy machine gun character, but this one really doesn't have a certain kind of gun class. He's more of just brute force and melee and, blowing stuff up.
Okay, and in Borderlands, are you playing one character at a time?
Yeah, you play one character at a time, but if you get a couple friends together, you can have up to 4 players playing at the same time.
And you have a group of 4 going through this adventure.
Yeah, and if you have all the DLC, there's now 6 characters that you can choose from. This new one was Krieg, the Psycho.
Okay, and from a gameplay standpoint, is it harder, or I would hope that the story matches your.
Well, that's the thing. You're not. They're not changing the story by adding Krieg into this. They're just essentially adding a new player, and it may be because I've played through this game multiple times at this point that I wasn't blown away with Krieg. I think I still had a lot of fun with him. It was still cool to play as him. One of my favorite perks is in his skill tree. One of the branches you can take is called. Hellfire, and that's where you can upgrade yourself by catching yourself on fire and causing a lot more damage.
Okay.
It's a very interesting idea, and you have some cool techniques, but overall, I was a little disappointed that this was essentially it.
Okay.
And another problem that a lot of people have was the fact that there's not a season pass. When you first got Borderlands, you could buy the season pass, and that means for about $15, you could get all the DLC. Which was a really good promise, but then Krieg came later, so you had to spend an extra $10 just to get this one character.
Okay. Now, from a gameplay standpoint, is the game not too easy for you, or is it still pretty challenging?
It's, of course, you're starting off at level 1 every time you make a new character, so it can be a little challenging at first, but once you get, 10 or 15 levels in, it seems to be kind of repetitive.
Which is good or bad?
It's not good considering that you're now just adding a new character to do this with.
Okay. So you get to a certain point in the game.
Yeah, in the game you're pretty much doing the same thing. There are DLCs where they add more storylines, but this is just simply one character, and I thought this character was mediocre at best. On a scale from 1 to 10, for the Borderlands 2 Psychopack DLC, I will give it a 6.
You're listening to KTSTFM. I'm Alan Ning, and you're listening to the Secret City Geek Lab. That was our video game section. We're kind of ramping up our video game reviews and previews and discussions right now because we're trying to get into good old E3 and hopefully bring us some exciting news from there. Moving on, though, we're going to head into comic books. I've got a few more sessions left with WonderCon, and we're going to go back to the IDW Kids panel, or the IDW panel, where they talk about their all-ages titles. And so they have a couple announcements, some exciting books coming out, and I'm going to bring that to you right now.
So with that in mind, we have a ton of all-ages stuff to talk about, but let's start with Kiss Kids.
Yeah, Kiss Kids is funny. Somebody came up yesterday, because I'm co-writing this with Tom Waltz, who does Ninja Turtles for us, and he and I did the regular Kiss series, which is played kind of like a superhero, like this cosmic superhero comic. Somebody came up yesterday, and they go, I like Kiss, I like Gene Simmons, I like the band. How do I sell this thing? Like, you sell it to your Tiny Titans audience. You sell it to people buying My Little Pony. So it's definitely aimed at an all-ages audience. I mean, it's going to have, if you're a Kiss fan, there's going to be a ton of nods and in-jokes and characters from their songs and all those kinds of things. But it's going to play to, 5-year-olds and 10-year-olds and 20-year-olds and 50-year-olds. Like, it's, at least we hope. That's what we're aiming at. But I know they have the personas that they have, but you can sort of have fun with those and play with those and joke around with those to the degree that you can just tell a fun all-ages comic. And I mean, we're having a blast with it right now. They just announced that they're doing Kiss Hello Kitty animated show on the Hub. So
you all saw that coming too.
Yeah, it's a natural thing. Yeah. So they're looking to not only expand it in different ways, but this was us based on retailer recommendation. Doing something that hits that Tiny Titans audience. So it's telling in jokes that hit the core fan base, but also telling it in a fun, all-ages way that is accessible to anybody that just likes fun, jokey comics.
There you go.
So on the back of each of the Kiss solo series we're doing starting this month, the first one was out on April 10th, actually. On the back page, there's a different gag strip just to see this and let everyone know what's coming. So that's coming.
Yes, indeed.
The artist Jose Holder did a few of these sketches, so it's just to be a lot of fun.
All right, Cartoon Network. A few of you may have heard about this. Last month we announced at Comics Pro we have a huge new partnership with Cartoon Network, starting with just a few of the properties you see up here and many, many more. Greg, do you want to touch base on what we're doing with Cartoon Network?
Actually, I'm going to pass the buck back to Chris in about a second. I'm just going to say that it's another one of these partnerships where you work a long way to sort of making it work, and obviously some of their other shows that started to appear in comic book form, and these were properties that we were interested in that we felt had not been done justice yet in comic book form, or not the complete justice they could be. So it was something that became a passion project for us to get the rights to do both reprints and, more importantly, for the long-term news stories.
All right, I'm going to pass it back to Dirk. All right. No, so we're in the fall. We're going to launch in September with Powerpuff Girls, which coincides right around the time they're doing a new Powerpuff animated feature, I believe. So Powerpuff Girls is going to be back out there in a good-sized way, and we'll be doing new and reprints of the old material. From there, they're also going to do Samurai Jack. Those are Powerpuff Girls. We're going to do Samurai Jack. This is a new piece done by one of the designers on the show, Andy Siriano. And we're still, we don't have a creative team to announce on this just yet, but we're working toward that, and we'll have some things to talk about. But, we reached out to Gendy about Samurai Jack, so I think there'll be a lot of exciting things to come with these. And then after October, then we'll go into Ben 10, before Star Trek. We don't have a Ben 10 image yet. And we got a long list of other Cartoon Network properties, too, that we're going to play with in different formats. So, again, for people that want all ages comics, or just comics that are fun, not dark, gloomy, and filled with death. Right. Except for maybe Samurai Jack. We'll be doing these, So let's move from there on to...
Well, quick, a little segue here. One second. One more. Go ahead.
Our preferred one, is it going to follow more of the art style of the old one or the new animation?
At first, it'll probably follow more of the old, because the new animation, I think, actually maybe won't be revealed until November, and our comics launching a little bit ahead of that, so, they want to keep the look and the new... The look's going to be similar, I believe, but not, there'll be some subtle tweaks, but we'll be more 2D comic-like, so probably more similar to what's come before.
One last all-ages project we have that we don't have a slide for, actually, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Animated Adventures that's launching on Free Comic Book Day. Which, so you're getting a theme, a lot of kids' comics coming up. We're getting a reputation, I think, since My Little Pony as kind of being one of the go-to houses for these sorts of things. So, Free Comic Book Day, who goes to comic shops on Free Comic Book Day? There you go. Yeah, we also have the Judge Dredd classics coming out the same day, so...
Just for anybody who thinks we're getting too soft.
Exactly. But so, let's move on to maybe some of the... Tell you what, let's save the questions for the end, other than just barrages all at once. We have a couple things we want to get to.
Our time's about to run out, so we're going to go over some geek news and end our session with you guys. So coming up, Star Wars Weekend is going on right now at the Disney Hollywood Studios. If you have a chance to get over there, it runs Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I believe. They're bringing back a very popular promotion. It's the Carbonite Yourself, where you can go to the Star Wars Weekends, have your face scanned in by a 3D printer, and you will then be encased in carbonite, in a little keychain-sized piece of carbonite. They also have a Stormtrooper Yourself, where you can have your face scanned as well, and placed on top of a Stormtrooper figurine. Also want to let you know that we are posting more and more news stories, trailers, video features up on our website at secretcitycomedy.com/geeklab. So I know that these are playing kind of late, and if you want to be caught up with the world of geek and nerdity, please come to secretcitycomedy.com/geeklab. So this has been episode 12 of Secret City Geek Lab. It's brought to you by Secret City Comic Society, Fullerton's best all-ages improv comedy. Come back next week for more news, updates, and in the world of geekdom and nerdity. Want to thank Davey Linam and Joey Shope for being a part of today's show. And remember, come visit us every day for geek news and reviews at secretcitycomedy.com.